Okay, I'm going to talk through the grammar presentation that's on pages 197, 198 in your book. Before we get started, be sure that you understand the difference between a clause and a phrase. A clause is a complete sentence with a subject and a verb that is embedded, and that means buried, in a longer sentence. For example, when I say in chapter 12 we're going to work on adjective clauses that are a little bit harder to explain. This that are a little bit harder to explain has a subject, which is that, has a verb, which is are, and then it goes into the longer sentence. And that's a clause. But a phrase is just a group of words that's embedded in a longer sentence. It doesn't need to have both a subject and a verb. For example, if I say, oops, I have to go back a minute, sorry. Okay, so if I say, we will look at adjective clauses with prepositions. With prepositions is a phrase. It doesn't have a verb. So it's not a clause. Okay, now we're going to look at adjective clauses with prepositions. Now, this is really a case where the rules get so complicated that I don't think there is much trouble in struggling to understand the rules. That's not going to help you as much as just listening to the sentences and getting used to hearing them and saying them so that you just have a feel for how it works. Okay, I'm just going to say some of these sentences and let you listen. He's the actor to whom she was talking. Or, he's the actor who she was talking to. Or, he's the actor that she was talking to. Or, he's the actor she was talking to. And that's with no relative pronoun. Okay. It's the studio for which he works. Or, it's the studio which he works for. It's the studio that he works for. Same thing. Or with no relative pronoun, it's the studio he works for. That's the director whose movies I told you about. That's the movie whose director I spoke of. Okay, quantifiers are these words here, followed by of in these sentences. And listen and get a feel for what these sentences are like. I have many friends, all of whom are actors. Or, I have many friends, a few of whom are actors. I was in a lot of movies, 2 of which were successes. I was in a lot of movies, some of which were successes. That's the director, most of whose movies are classics. That's the movie, all of whose actors got awards.